and prayers for a liver to save my mom's life. Our first miracle came in April of 1998 when my mom received a cadaver liver. Back then, living donation was just an idea on paper. Our second miracle happened 10 years later, in 2008, when the donor bile duct in her new liver very sadly failed. After 6 months living in Toronto General, and with only 24 hours left to live, a child from SickKids saved her life the second time. Both times as I sat in the TGH waiting room, thinking of darkest moments unimaginable to donate their loved one's organs. Having a seriously ill parent and facing the fear of losing her multiple times at such a young age is not for the faint of heart. But I was determined to turn my pain into purpose and pay forward the incredible gifts that we had received. I had always thought about becoming a donor, but I got serious about it nearly 10 years ago. My original plan, of course, was to donate a kidney to my mom when the time came. But as we all know, we can make all the plans we want, while God and fate sit back and laugh. In late 2016, our friend Meg sold, and her health was rapidly tested for Meg, trusting that a living donor would come from Mom when the time was right. Less than a year earlier, I had lost one of my best friends of 30 years to a rare cancer, so donating in her honor felt incredibly fitting. The donation to Meg went beautifully, and she has been living her best life the past 9.5 years. Then the following year, I lost another person who was like a second father to me, also to a rare cancer. In our last conversation, he told me, "I'm so proud of you for donating your kidney. You've done something so big and important with your life." His words stayed with me, and I began to feel God whispering that my living donation journey just wasn't over yet. That April, I attended a fundraiser at Toronto General, and I met a man who donated a lobe of his liver to a young girl at his church. He later became a second father to her and even walked her down the aisle at her wedding. On the drive home, I knew two things for certain that night. I was going to get tested to donate a part of my liver, and if I was ever blessed with a soulmate, my two recipients were going to walk me down the aisle at my wedding. So in the spring of 2018, I called my best friends, my family, and my living kidney donor coordinator at Toronto General, Julie, and I said, "I'm going to try for the liver. Here we go again." Through the grace of God, I passed all the tests, and during the process, I met the most wonderful baby girl and her family, the ones who I would eventually donate to. I was introduced to Nyla's mom and Naya after giving a keynote on organ donation at the Region of York's Women Empowerment Luncheon in early of 2019. Meeting Nyla and her mom in the lobby of SickKids was honestly the scariest first date I ever had. But after 3 hours together, I just knew. Even though I was 39 and Nyla was 7 months old, our medical teams confirmed that we were a perfect match when they placed our files and our scans side by side. How beautiful it was to give a mother back her baby's life after a baby had once saved my own mother. A year later, while reviewing my liver testing dates from the spring of 2018, I realized something incredible, that I had started my liver testing process the very week that Nyla was born. I didn't know this little angel fighting for her life across the street at SickKids, but God knew her, and this was always his plan. The deaths of my two loved ones impacted me deeply, and they still do every single day. I would have done anything to trade places with them, but I couldn't. Instead of letting grief make me bitter, I chose to do something profoundly positive with it. I decided to save two lives in loving memory of the two that were taken too soon, and in deep gratitude for the donors that saved my mom. As I was wheeled into surgery on May 23rd, 2019, mine and Nyla's miracle day, I felt completely calm and at peace. I knew that I had the very best surgeon in Dr. Ganekar taking care of me, and that both of my hands would be held during surgery, even if it was all the way from heaven this time. Mark Twain once said, "The two most important days of your life are the day that you're born and the day that you find out why." And as my tattoo reads, I gave her life, she gave me purpose. There's no doubt that everything I've been through has led me to these 2 donations, and they are a huge part of my why in this life, my purpose. Over the past decade, I've become a bit of a grace hunter. I look for the small things every day that bring joy to the people I love, and I often shake my head in awe at the miracle of organ donation and what the human body can really do. I look forward to dinners with Meg, advocating for organ donation together, and celebrating our yearly kidneyversary each December. This year marks 10 years. And every September, I dream about sharing new beginnings with Nyla when her mom kindly lets me take her to school for the first day every year. I'll never forget Nyla's first day of junior kindergarten. I kissed her goodbye, I told her how proud I was, and I said I knew she was going to do great. While many of the other children were crying, Nyla stood there like the bravest girl in the world. When the bell rang, she looked over her shoulder and waved at me with a big smile. As soon as she was out of sight, I cried along with all the other parents. But mine were tears of pure joy and overwhelming gratitude that we had made it here. I cried again that December at her school assembly when she received the Academic ACE Award. Sick kids had warned that she might have some delays, but there she was, defying all the odds. The next year she received the Character Award, just like her Auntie Meg had at grade 8 graduation. Nothing has made me prouder, because above all else, she is kind. I am constantly amazed by Nyla's resilience, her strength, her positivity, her maturity, and her beautiful character. Knowing I played a small part in the wonderful life that she will live brings me the greatest joy I have ever known. She is the closest thing that I will ever have to a daughter. Tonight, I'm thrilled to announce for the very first time that little Miss Nyla and I are writing a children's book together about organ donation. We hope it will help other children awaiting their miracle understand transplants better, and I can hardly wait for this next adventure with her and her mama. If you're lucky, maybe she'll autograph a copy for you at next year's gala. I wake up every single day healthier and happier knowing this body of mine saved 2 people I love dearly, 2 people with whom I now share an unbreakable, eternal bond. People often ask if my life has changed for the worse because I'm missing a kidney or do I have a lot of limitations now? I always smile and tell them that the truth, my life and my health are a million times better because of these donations. It is important to honor donors for their selfless role in transplantation, but having lived with a 2-time transplant recipient, I can say with complete certainty that recipients are the real heroes. So to all the recipients here tonight, thank you for showing up in life, even when it was really hard, passed away at the age of 99 and a half. Through my tears that day, I kept asking why, of all days, did it have to be this one? But as the first anniversary approached in 2023, it started to make sense. God knew my smallest best friend was born on that same day, so that date would forever hold both sorrow and overwhelming joy. In the summer of 2023, I reconnected with a long-lost friend who I now get to call my handsome husband, Fitz. Fitz is hearing this for the first time tonight along with all of you. The exact moment I knew he was my soulmate was when he introduced me to his family and friends, and he said this is Meg, and she's a 2-time living organ donor. Isn't that just awesome? I was single and I lived alone during both my donations, and that was honestly the hardest part. I had prayed for a man who would be proud of my journey and as passionate about organ donation as I am. He continues to introduce me that way, and I hope he never stops. Having his full support and love for both Meg and Nyla has been a real dream come true. In September of 2024, while volunteering at a Living Organ Donor Week event at Toronto General, I met the most beautiful mother and daughter. The mom had donated her kidney to her daughter earlier that year. As they shared their story, I held back tears. Later, they came back and told me they wanted to help others in the same situation. We exchanged numbers, started talking about starting a charity, and the rest, as they say, is history. Emily, I'm so proud of you, and I look forward to watching you and the Butterfly Effect grow for so many more years to come. Along this journey, I have met some of my favorite humans. My donation and transplant buddies have become my family by heart. Just a year ago next week, after a scheduled radical hysterectomy, I hemorrhaged and nearly died due to medical malpractice. In those terrifying moments, I prayed for more time with Meg and Nyla so we could continue creating beautiful memories together. And yes, they did in fact walk me down the aisle at my wedding, and what an answered prayer that was. But I also remember thinking in those terrifying moments, as the doctors said I needed 2 blood transfusions, thank goodness someone donated blood so that I can live. I've been a regular blood donor since I was 18, never imagining that one day I would be in crisis and need it myself. So tonight, I have 2 calls to action. First, please register to be an organ donor, and better yet, consider getting tested to be a living organ donor. And while you're at it, please donate blood and plasma because there's a tremendous need right now for both. Second, choose your chosen family and your best friends wisely. The right support system is everything, and I'm so grateful for mine, many of who are here tonight cheering me on. Beginnings can be scary, and endings often sad, but it's the middle, it's the right here and now that matters the most. So in closing, if I can leave you with these 3 things to think about tonight. Always choose brave, always. Don't ever ask for permission to save a life or start changing the world for the better. Save a life or 2 now, because you'll never regret it, I promise. And as the title of mine and Nyla's book will read, remember, not all superheroes wear capes. Thank you. Meg, you have a standing ovation here. Thank you, Meg. Thank you for telling your story. And we can't wait for the book. No pressure. So ladies and gentlemen, as we continue with our dinner service, please direct your attention to the stage here where Cirque Revolution is going to present a captivating performance inspired by the butterfly effect, a reminder that even the smallest actions can create extraordinary change.
Ladies and gentlemen, the main course is now on its way. Please enjoy.